Hello. In this video, I wanted to talk about a method of drawing an umbrella that kind of like helped me understand how to draw gourds better. And it's interesting because like a gourd is like a pinched shape. An umbrella, it could kind of follows like the top half, I would say, and it's a bit more simple. So I'm gonna start with showing the umbrella example. And basically what you do is you start with an ellipse. I learned the umbrella side of it from a book called Perspective Made Easy by Ernest Norling. This book is really, really good when you spend a lot of time practicing the individual concepts. I feel like there's always something interesting that I could learn. I do want to point out that a lot of these things and concepts, it takes a long time to really get them in your head, as frustrating as that is. Okay, so let's draw the handle. Okay, so what you do is I'm going to use an extra line work layer just so I could have like really straight lines to accomplish this. So you have like one going from there, and I'm basically like constraining these lines next to the of this ellipse, not the top cap. So what you do is you put a point near the top. It could be an ellipse itself, actually. And this point, well, let me do it cleaner. Let's say that's like the top of the umbrella, or in the example it kind of showed, like the cap, which I don't know why umbrellas are capped like that. Okay, so what you do is you draw an ellipse within those boundaries. Let me do it again. Sorry, what did I do? Alrighty. I have to ghost more until I could get an ellipse that I am confident with. I think that ellipse is good. A little off. So I just try to find the center of that ellipse, kind of freehanding it a bit. And then what you want to do is you want to draw, we're going to like kind of like cut the ellipse into a bunch of slices. And I guess this is up to you for how many that you want to do. Maybe for this example, it's best that I only do maybe like 4 or so. Yeah, I'll stick with 4 for clarity. And I didn't mean to make a pun when I said 4. So let's say this is the top point, or like let's say this ellipse here. Now we have a center point on that ellipse, and at that point there is like this branching of the individual segments. So let me show you. I'm going to go from this ellipse down to this point. I should have made it a little bit more straight, kind of like that. So we have to get to this point, this point, this point, and this point. And I'm going to ghost my lines a few times. When I say ghost, it's kind of like getting in the flow before you actually draw the line. You kind of like draw without drawing to get comfortable with executing the the drawing mark in question. So the ellipse behind here, it's a bit weird to deal with, because I'm trying to draw in like a motion kind of like that to get it. But I'm always starting here and ghosting here. It can be a long process, but ghost until you feel comfortable to execute the line. Now we have this one. Okay, so now in the example, what it basically did is it just kind of like estimated like going from here to here to show the individual segments. I probably made it a bit too thick. And it looks a bit weird because I didn't draw, like, it probably should have a lot more of these things, but if you kind of understand like how these lines fall on the point to map the curvature of the individual like slices of umbrella, that's kind of like how to think about it. So I always recommend you have some type of reference to use off screen. And in this case, like I don't have the rights to the picture. I wish I could have taken my own picture, but I think it's called a bottle gourd. And to start off with, I'm going to draw some ellipses. There's the ellipse that kind of represents a depression within. Like right here, this is like where the stem is coming out of. Like if you could think of a gourd, you know, I think they require a lot of water, so they're like the vines that attach them are like incredibly thick. So now I'm going to draw another ellipse, like right here. Oh, yeah, like right there. And now I need to draw an ellipse. This ellipse here kind of is the halfway point between the upper smaller part of the bottle gourd and the lower larger half. And now I'm going to do the ground half. Okay, so in this instance, looking at the gourd, I perhaps should have used like a pumpkin, because I think certain gourds have more of these individual segments, and perhaps this reference wasn't the best for me to use, but I guess I didn't really know that until I started drawing it. But I would say that it follows the same principle, in which you kind of have these. Well, no, I think I am right. I think this example actually is good. So what you do is you kind of like, well, I'm going to ghost to this point. So I should have made it a little bit wider. So the important thing to know about this gourd is that where the stem is, there's like a very subtle depression. So when I say depression, in the umbrella example, everything was kind of like stemming off the top and just kind of following along the curvature from that to those segments. But it's like if you were to look at like a ball, let me draw a ball right here. So there is kind of like an ellipse here, and it's kind of like concave in, and basically that is our root thing here, or the stem. So it's kind of like if you were to think about it from the other side, which we really can't see, it does exist there, but it's just like on the other side. So it's like, I made it a bit too large because I'm trying to also constrain it. Like this line that I just drew here, that represents the back view. So think of it like that, right? Because like that's really how it's all coming out from that gourd line. I think I accidentally drew that line there. I didn't mean to. Oh, I did. That's so annoying. The other important thing is I want like everything here to kind of like not go beyond the like the concave line. So it's kind of like that initially. So looking at the gourd for the bottom, it does follow the same principle, but I guess it seems much more like a circle rather than a, you know, kind of following the principle of the umbrella. But I would say this example follows the same for like pumpkins, because I think pumpkins have a lot of those uh, curvish segments to accomplish that. So far I pretty much only drew one, two, three of these segments. There are more. Like if I had to do one more, I would probably put it here. I mean, there's probably a lot more. And then what I would do is I would try to connect these segments. Perhaps it's better just trying to leave it off. But it does kind of like follow through, because we kind of drew through our gourd form here. And like it's also difficult because like when you're seeing it from this view, the curvature just kind of goes and connects those kind of like out more. It's actually probably best to like not do that section and kind of leave it as it is here. So I hope that kind of helps explain what I learned. I will cover more botanicals in the future. Like this example was probably a bit bad, and now that I'm looking at that bottom circle, it should have been a bit more round. And I also realized that this ground, I should have covered it a bit more like that. Kind of like that. Alrighty. So if you have a question, please leave it in the comments. If you like my channel, please subscribe. And if you like the video, please like it. But thanks for listening. Bye.